Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm Chuck Bazile from Spiritual and Paranormal Experiences. Our website is www.cbezio.com. That is the Society for Spiritual and Paranormal Research. I am the founder of the Society for Spiritual and Paranormal Research, and I invite you to check out the website. Also, one half of the Psychic Couple, and we do psychic readings. And we're going to continue on with our psychic readings by the Psychic Couple here in part 5 of our 2014 Psychic Predictions by the Psychic Couple. Our Psychic Couple website is www.psychiccouple.com. That's psychiccouple.com. If you go to our website right now, you will be able to see episodes are the 2014 Psychic Predictions by the Psychic Couple Part 1 and Part 2. You will also be able to see our 2013 Christmas special, where Jennifer and I sit down and discuss some Christmas traditions around the world, and we discuss our Christmas traditions. You'll also be able to see our 2014 Celebrity Predictions. Okay, America is coming to a fork in the road. I am concerned about America's future. And those of you who are watching right now, you will see the fireplace going. You will also see our Persian cat named Tinkerbell has decided to set herself up right in front here. She decided she wanted to join us for the show. Back to our psychic predictions. America's future. This definitely scares me in the direction we're going. All signs are all around us of what is happening to our country. And only a very few, are paying attention. Everybody, because this concerns all of our civil rights, should be paying attention to what is happening in the United States. But we're not. A majority of us are not. We are too wrapped up in our own little worlds, and whatever we're doing, we're trying to raise our families, we're trying to work, we're trying to party, pay our bills, use our iPhones or our smartphones, or whatever. But something is happening in the background. And in 2014, I do believe that it is time for America and Americans to really wake up and see exactly what direction our country's headed. We are very wrapped up in a lot of our entertainment and technology that we have today, to the point that the government pretty much can do whatever they want. Our politicians can do whatever they want. And there has been many laws, basically starting with the Patriots Act back in 2001, that really began the destruction of the Constitution, and that very much scares me. So I wanted to point that out. We definitely are at a fork in the road. We do have a choice. One of two possibilities has to be taken. Either we do nothing or we do something. I see a small movement starting out in March, and by October it becoming very big. I also see that a lot of Americans are going to rise up against a lot of these things that are taking place now, like I said, between March and October. But I also see that there is a huge rebel faction that is going to take aim at the U.S. government. And this is not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about guns. I'm not talking about domestic terrorism. I'm not talking about hurting people. I am talking about civil unrest, protests, speaking out, getting out the vote, and actually getting out there and going to vote. That's what I'm talking about. I want to point out the preamble of the Declaration of Independence says it is our duty as Americans to overthrow any abusive or corrupt government. It also goes on to say that Congress cannot pass any laws that exempts them from laws. Congress is not the elite. Whatever laws they pass, they must obey them also. Lately, they have been passing laws in which favors them, but we have to adhere to that. That, as far as I'm concerned, is an abusive, corrupt government. I'm not saying, once again, pick up arms and actually start hurting anybody. I think that's going to occur. And I think it's going to go into the gun issues that we are having and been having around the country. I also believe that the whole housing event that happened back in 2008 was planned, and that evidence is going to come out and indicate that. And Jennifer is going to continue her numerology report right now.
Alright, alright, in the tarot, trump number 7 is called the Chariot. Let's use the symbols of the Chariot as a description of the qualities that this year will unfold. The Chariot symbol is a vehicle, wherein sits a charioteer, traditionally a prince wearing a crown. It symbolizes action, movement. The Chariot is usually seen as a conqueror full of strength. He can be the sun god Apollo in his solar chariot, or Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita driving Arjuna's chariot, or a warrior of the Holy Grail. The chariot is prominent as the Merkabah in Jewish mysticism. I feel that the chariot is most powerful in its astrological reference to the sign of Cancer. The first water sign, it signifies emotions, the mother, the womb, self. The unconscious, nurturing, security, shelter, foundation, home memories. The chariot is the vehicle which the soul uses to embody itself in the physical plane with each incarnation. The vehicle is our emotional bodies, which we armor as the chariot. The shell, or chariot, is the outer physical body vehicle, but the inner hidden core, the eternal soul, is more important. The Thoth Tarot shows the charioteer in golden armor with the wheel of karma at his lap. Thoth Tarot number 7, sign of Cancer. The 4 fixed stars, or archangels, are pulling the chariot. For me, 2014 will be symbolized by being in the driver's seat of your own life, taking full responsibility for creating every emotion that you feel. On the road is a good phrase to remember for this upcoming year. The chariot speaks to me of the 7 chakras and the need to keep those open at all times through meditation and allowing emotions to flow. I am finalizing my guided meditations with the chakras. The chariot is the physical body of safety. We will need to have secure spaces and to attend our physical vehicle really primarily. How are we feeling and what are we sensing will be the primary means of transport. It's about the flux and flow of the emotions and the need to ride the waves, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Are you a wave or a particle or both? It is a return to the safety of the womb. We will need to feel connected, protected, and home. And the only safe place is within your own heart and the divine heart of the mother. We will all need to be conscious of our soul, our essences, living within the protection that is the chariot, the Merkabah, the physical, energetic, spiritual vehicle of ascension. Yes, it may be a very bumpy, tempestuous ride. We will need to be able to go with the flow, to not stop or dam it up. 2014 will encourage us to feel like children, trusting, innocent, playful, spontaneous. This will be wonderful, a return to innocence. Everyone's emotional sensitivity will be heightened too. We will be speaking from our hearts more. Water will be a powerful metaphor. Much oceanic activity, March 2014, stands out to me particularly as a huge breakdown economically. Water is a cleanser, which washes away all hardness. The sign of Cancer will be highlighted till mid-year with Jupiter's present, the Great Mother, the Great Nurturer, and the Giver of life. Will be more primal, and we will need to feel spiritually connected to her, unconditional love and acceptance to thrive. We will be opening our hearts more and giving and caring for others as if they were our own children. Of course, the 4 cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, will be very important in the ongoing grand crosses, which are crucifying or creating a new foundation for us.
In the spring of 2013, the Boston Marathon bombing occurred. In the aftermath of that bombing, we saw policemen dressed like military soldiers. We saw U.S. military in this capturing of the Boston bomber. And they're dressed more like, the police are dressed more like U.S. military. They are trained to kill Americans who resist. And if you've noticed, they're beginning to use more and more Nazi tactics of a police state.
The Gestapo!
Yes. In 2014.
Well, you can't blame the government for trying to step up their political end and protect the people in that instance, because we have had, a lot more acts of terrorism, more severe acts of people destroying people, and, when people turn on people, it's all bad. We need to unify, but we need to unify in a way that we're living together and understanding and helping one another and not shooting and blowing each other up, especially our children.
Exactly.
What's gotten into people to attack the babies?
Exactly. I don't understand that. But in 2014, our government is going to increase in their efforts here, and they are going to more and more military-like type police actions. If Americans do not do their duty and insist that the Patriot Act, the NASA spying, and all those other things that have really basically stripped us of our civil rights rescinded, and begin to fight to restore the Constitutional Bill of Rights and habeas corpus, America will become a total basic communist country.
Well, that's just it. The more and more we annihilate people's freedoms, the less and less we are a free country and we can't make choices for ourselves.
In 2014, more and more people are going to, as the government steps up these efforts, more and more Americans are going to see and realize exactly what is going on here. Sadly,
it's good to feel protected and it's good to have a good defense, but at the same time, when are you going from outside the cage to inside the cage?
Sadly, 1.2 million Americans had their unemployment benefits just end because Congress didn't renew the extended unemployment benefit program. So 1.2 million people who need jobs and need money to live have now no longer have the money to survive. But that's not the end of the story here. Food stamp recipients are going to see a large reductions in their benefits in 2014. There are more and more people on food stamps today than ever before. So this is going to affect millions of people in this country, this large reduction. Now remember, I talked earlier about the stock market and the rich getting richer. Here, unemployed people are losing their income.
No, the poor are getting poorer.
And the food stamp recipients are getting reductions in their food stamps. Millions and trillions of dollars every year go away
being dumped into foreign wars and foreign countries
to support the Syrian Al-Qaeda rebels.
It's not just the Syrian Al-Qaeda rebels. We are expanding ourselves too far. We have worn ourselves too thin. We have to start thinking inward instead of outward.
Yeah.
We need to start developing and pouring more of our resources back into our country, our nation, in order for us to survive.
One of the other things that's going to, as you start taking money away from the unemployed.
Take a rubber band. What happens when you extend it?
And the
what happens when you keep pulling on it? It eventually snaps.
Money.
Same thing for a balloon. Same thing for fried dough or pizza dough. You stretch it to a certain point and it breaks. Well, we're at that breaking point.
Money that goes to support these foreign countries, or taxpayer dollars that are blown on lavish parties and vacations, spent with taxpayers' money for people's personal agendas, are going to come to the forefront during the 2014 midterm elections. Why? This is totally wrong. It's totally unacceptable.
Yeah, but we're talking about a Band-Aid in a dam that's going to explode. The lavish party or the lavish getaway is nothing compared to the amount of monies that we're pouring into all these foreign countries
to
build them back up. We're going to build them back up, and then they're going to take us out.
1984 by George Orwell discusses basically all of these things that we've been talking about recently with our government. And it's basically, George Orwell was trying to tell us what could happen. It's like our government took that as a template on what to do, because they're implementing these things. It is going to come to pass or be in the news that Congress has totally and deliberately attempted to ruin our economy. Especially with the millions and trillions of dollars in stimulus. And there's going to be more talks about more stimulus. And that's basically corporate welfare. And that's basically so the rich can get richer, or the too big to fail can get even bigger and dominate and control everything. It will begin to put businesses out of business, and it will force many businesses to actually leave this country. It is going to be in the news that government is creating situations where it can declare martial law, that there has been conspiracies to get people to riot, that they are deliberately doing the food stamp reduction or the cutoff of the unemployment benefits to get these people to riot, so that martial law can be declared, that they can suspend the Constitution, and so that the lowest approval rated Congress in U.S. history can stay in power. This is not an accidental food stamp shutdown. It is planned.
Well, everything the government does is purely deliberate.
Remember, government is spying on us. We will actually hear more about that in 2014. We'll hear more about government spending, and that it is our duty as patriots to restore the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And now let's go on to a different topic, because I know politics is one of your favorite there. Environmental predictions. Jungles and endangered species become a hot topic of discussion in 2014 as celebrities and foreign celebrities use their fame to address this increasing problem.
Well, just as you said earlier about snakes and their venom, and then you mentioned a tree in Bosnia for AIDS, if we don't start preserving our resources on this planet, humanity is destined to fail.
Yeah, exactly. We need this planet to live.
There is a cure for something, for everything out there. There is a cure for everything out there. But there have been cures that we have missed because these things have become extinct or have died out or were never discovered due to something humanity has done.
There's a possibility, like they talked about Atlantis and their technology being their doom. Our modern society could be doomed because of our greed. That is a long-term prediction. But our modern society, and if greed is not curtailed or actually put under control here, our modern society will collapse. Okay, the next one. There's going to be an explosion in a mining facility, and it's going to be determined that they were working under unsafe conditions because of the increased usage of coal. This is going to happen towards the end of July, beginning of August, and it's going to bring greater awareness to the safety hazards regarding the mining of coal and the mining of minerals in our country. Unfortunately, I see more trees rapidly being cut down. Some people just do not realize how fragile our world is right now. I also see that because of this, there is going to be more flooding.
Yeah, but not only that, what about the species of trees that are now being attacked and dying, like the ash tree and the
invasive species.
Oh, invasive species.
Because they're going unchecked by.
Look at what happened to the North American chestnut and the fungus or the blight that it caught. I mean, it's a thing of the past. We need to stop this stuff. We need to preserve what we have here.
Okay, health predictions. Rocks are found on the coast of an exotic beach resort that contains hazardous materials for the inhabitants of that beach. And
that's just great. I'm picking up rocks all the time. Good thing I don't live on a exotic beach somewhere.
Well, it's going to be in the Yucatan, if you want to know where. It's going to be it's going to be in the Yucatan, and it's going to cause hundreds of injuries because of this contamination.
Well, do we know what kind of contamination? Is it animal, mineral, viral?
It is a chemical.
Some kind of a
spillage.
Fallout created from something.
Yeah, it is. It is a chemical weapon spillage. It is man-made chemical that causes this. In the Yucatan, a resort, and in an exotic beach. Good thing that we're not making any plans for that area.
Well, it's a good thing we ain't making any money to survive, let alone go to the Yucatan.
This is going to be go good with the foot cream that I had been talking about earlier. Swimmers and frequent locker room users. Take note that in 2014, a rapidly spreading fungal infection will break out right around the same time that this new cream is going to come onto the market.
Yeah, well, it's not going to necessarily be a cream. It's going to be more of a silicone-based protective shield. Like you put chapstick on your lips, you will apply this to your feet in exposed areas, which will prevent infection from invading small fissions and cracks and damaged areas, which will in turn protect you. It's like putting on a latex glove when you're in a hospital.
2014, President Obama is going to be under a lot of stress because of Obamacare.
When hasn't he been under a lot of stress for Obamacare?
Someone close to Obama, a personal friend, someone in his administration, is actually going to come out and start speaking against him and his administration and some of his policies in 2014. I see that there is going to be an attempt of a terrorist attack using a car bomb in New York City, and the FBI is going to be get this information via text, and they're going to stop it. Obama is going to, in 2004, sign a very controversial treaty with NATO. I believe it has to do with Afghanistan and the continuous stay of the U.S. soldiers in Afghanistan. Someone is going to attempt to assassinate Obama in 2014, and this is going to be on the news again live. It's not going to happen, but the whole drama is going to play out on TV. There's going to be increasing protests like I talked about the government. But a lot of the protests are going to be directed towards Obama. His popularity is going to decrease. And Obama is going to even begin to have some health-related issues that could possibly be related to his heart. Obama is going to begin experiencing his second-term curse. This is what second-term presidents usually face in their second term. Everything from 2004 to the end of his presidency now is pretty much going to become stagnated and stalled out, and he will spend most of his time defending the prior 6 years of his presidency.
When does that not happen? It always happens.
Well, it's gonna start around Easter weekend. This is an interesting one. In April, a young woman is going to accuse Barack Obama of cheating on Michelle.
Once again, when does that not happen? God, I wish it'd keep the politics and the private relationships separate.
It's not true. Obama will actually take to Twitter.
It doesn't matter if it's true or if it's not true. I mean, we've gotten rid of several good presidents because of the private indiscrepancies that should never have been made public. That's why I can't stand politics. It just frustrates me. Once it gets started, you can't separate real from fact or fictional.
Once it gets said and once it's out there, then it's out there, and there's a good part of it.
Come on, what does an affair have to do with running the state, running the economy, running the government? I mean, all it is dirt.
I do believe that in 2014, the Queen of England is going to step down because of failing health. And Charles will become king.
Charles will never be king.
That is untrue. I did research on that. And that was not something he ever agreed to. And they tried it, but it never was implemented. He will only be king for a very short time. Towards the end of 2014, like when Pope Benedict retired, the announcement of the retirement of a queen, and towards the end, like the end of November, Charles will be crowned king, but his reign will not be very long. But on the other hand, King William will have a very long and prosperous reign and be very, very popular. Did I already say that?
No, but William already is popular, and we already know that he's in line.
He will be the most popular modern monarch in our time. Okay. This is one that Winter Olympics prediction.
Sochi.
Yes, there's going to be trouble in the upcoming Olympics.
When is there not scandal and trouble?
Yeah, well, I do believe it has something to do with
gays.
Yes, and domestic terrorism.
Again, why does the bedroom have to be involved in whether or not you can ride a snowboard? What in the world are people thinking?
Well, and domestic terrorism in Russia, Russian terrorists.
What is who or what you're sleeping with have anything to do on whether or not you can stand on a pair of skis and
Russia and China are concerned that these domestic terrorists are going to do some type of biological terrorism during the Olympics. But I don't believe it's going to take place. But I do believe that there will be some terrorist attacks. And I do believe that there's going to be a lot of controversy regarding the...
You mean there will be
days.
attempts?
Attempts, yes. Later on in 2014, we will do our Super Bowl predictions. We'll do our Academy Award predictions like we did last year. This one's a little scary. An African building collapse. I see it where a lot of people are, like in a hotel or an apartment in Western Africa. And it's definitely going to be a huge international newsmaker in 2014. Also, I'm concerned with the possibility that we could actually see Syria actually use missiles and shoot missiles at Europe. There is a huge, incredible embarrassment for Australia coming up in 2014. Hailstorms in the Midwest and South, like you've never seen before.
Now you're jumping all over the place.
Yeah, these are just all predictions for 2014. Hailstorms in the Midwest and the South. Black Friday. I see the possibilities of riots breaking out in Arkansas and Kansas. I also am very worried about the possibility of the start of mass migrations of people. I see more and more people moving to the more northern hemisphere parts of and away from the equator. That would mean people moving from like the Middle East to Northern Europe, or Americans moving towards Canada. I do believe this has to do with rising floodwater or rising ocean waters and the loss of cities and ports around the world.
But not only that, you're going to be having droughts, you're going to be having more and more severe weather, you're going to be having hotter temperatures. This is all an effect of global warming, especially around the equator.
Another effect of global warming is animals coming out into populations. And there is
animals coming out into populated areas with humans.
Human-populated areas, yes.
Yeah. Well, can you blame them? We're destroying their habitats.
Well, in the news in 2014, there's going to be a black bear attack and a mountain lion attack. That's going to be in the news.
Do we ever not have one?
No, it's not all the time.
Yeah, but you have to admit, in the last few years, there have been animal attacks reported.
In 2014, skiing is going to be in the news. And I'm not talking about because of the Winter Olympics. I'm talking about that there is going to be a couple of accidents. And a couple of famous people are going to actually die on the ski slopes. And the safety of the ski slopes, because of numerous accidents after that, is going to make skiing and the safety of skiing headlines in the news. I think I talked about this earlier. Health breakthroughs with thyroid.
Yep, you've already
coming
mentioned
up.
that. Are we to the end of our
Almost.
journey?
I talked about the possibility of birds.
Yeah.
Yep. One of the birds that.
So what is this? Just a recap?
No. The birds that are not going to be flying that will be affected in large populations are turkeys and ducks.
Are going to be affected with what?
This new disease.
Oh, alright, because you had not mentioned that we were going to be flightless birds.
Oh, there will be flightless
Alright,
birds.
so if it's turkeys and ducks, chances are the chicken population could be affected as well.
Yeah. But a large population of the turkeys and ducks are going to be...
What kind of ducks? Because there are ducks that fly.
No, these are more like wild ducks.
Like your mallards?
Yeah.
So the wild duck population,
And wild
the wild
turkey.
turkey population.
Yeah.
Great. Wild turkeys were just brought back from the brink of extinction in the last decade or so.
I know. Also, police dogs are going to be present in more schools.
Well, that only makes sense.
Should note that the new healthcare law plan will not go as planned.
Has it yet?
Around the fall of 2014, California will have an earthquake.
Once again, we're hitting on the ring of fire.
Yeah. I do believe that it's going to be a big one, but it's not going to... A large property damage, but not large casualties. Let me go to the next page here. Oh, I had mentioned this earlier, and I knew I was going to bring this up. We talked about Osama bin Laden and how we made the prediction that he was still alive and that he would be captured. Well, Osama bin Laden's remains will be found in 2014 on the ocean floor, and proof of his death will be revealed online. This is going to anger the Muslim people and the Islamic extremists.
I thought we had his body.
We did, but we dumped it overseas on a boat. It was never brought to... They just wanted to be done with it. Within the next 6 months, there's going to be another chemical attack in Syria. Syria is an issue. Pakistan will face outrage from its citizens due to moral issues with their political leaders. There's going to be some controversy and some very racy and juicy things that are going to come to light with the Pakistan's political leaders. 2014, the power grid meltdown. This is going to happen again. It's going to happen again in a domino effect. Our power grid is outdated, and it needs
Well, it's
a
just
lot
like
of
our
attention.
roads and our bridges and our communications. We're just not putting enough into our own economy, into our own infrastructure to move ahead and stabilize.
School shootings for the school year 2014-2014. Increased shootings in California, Chicago, Texas, Florida, yes again in Georgia and Alabama, and even North Carolina. Good news for economic predictions. By late 2014, prices of goods and services will safely deflate into territory that is affordable for most Americans. Now, what they're talking about here is homegrown food. Once again, community. Grow your own food, eat your own food, and keep it in the community, and don't depend on these big global suppliers to supply you with an abundance of food. And the food will be cheaper. And that's what I mean by deflate for food. Corn. I hope you're not a fan of corn, because if you're a fan of corn, get your fill right now, because it won't be readily available by this time next year. Corn crops are met with increased prices, so raise corn here.
What did I say about corn earlier?
The president of Brazil will not be re-elected. This is a little scary for those who like roller coasters. There's going to be a big roller coaster accident. And I see that it's going to cause a major setback after a lawsuit is filed over the accident that results in 2 deaths and at least 20 people severely injured. Grave robber prediction. The graveyard robber makes headline worldwide in October of 2004 as he steals from the graves of rich donors and socialites while selling their possessions, basically selling them on eBay. 2014 predictions. Miniature tigers become a new sought-after pet next year as Paris Hilton and George Clooney become some of the most famous seekers of these new genetically modified animals. Yes. 2014 rock climbing problem. Prediction, a rock climbing expedition in Norway or Sweden, basically Northern Europe, explodes due to a technical malfunction and kills the lives of dozens of nearby observers. 2014, with the recent controversies over Eric Snowden and Bradley Manning, there's going to be increased demand that these 2 people be pardoned. Economic prediction again, with the upcoming stock market collapse, there will end up being one winner in a sea of financial ruin. India's economy will see a massive spike by October. I see a war abroad coming very soon. Russia, Turkey, Jordan, and the U.S. will be involved, no doubt. This is an ongoing bloody conflict in Syria. I think I mentioned earlier that cloning will become more mainstream.
No, you mentioned stuff about stem cell research, and you did say something about some cloning in a previous episode, but we didn't really elaborate on much.
Uganda is going to win the World Cup in 2014. This is a soccer prediction. Solar flare prediction. Call it a solar flare tsunami. However, solar flare activity will be and is causing the world geometric storms, and there will be technological difficulties because of it. 2014 Miss Universe prediction. Miss Universe and or Miss America pageant will bring to light the LGBT. Do you know what that is?
Nope, haven't looked.
LGBT, lesbian, gay, bi, and transgender issues. Just like the gays are being brought to Winter Olympics, Miss America and Miss Universe are going to be bringing the lesbian, gay, bi, and transgender issues to the news. 2014.
Yeah, this whole thing over that sexuality, in all actuality, it is no different than slavery. It is no different than segregation. We've just found a different group to pick on. What about acceptance? What about, like I said earlier, in keeping what happens in the bedroom in the bedroom and out of the political scene. People need to learn to just keep their noses in their own business because it doesn't affect you. Truly, how does somebody else's sexual relationship affect you?
This has been part 5 of the Psychic Couples Psychic Predictions for 2014. We hope you have enjoyed them. We have one more segment left, or part to our psychic predictions. So stay tuned. You will be getting those up on the web, and hopefully they will be airing locally very soon. Until next time, God bless.